Hello everybody, and welcome to episode 38 of the Anatomy of Knitting podcast. It is currently April 30th, 2012, and my name is Erin, and I'll be your host. In this episode, I will have a bit of thanks. I'll talk about what's been on the needles. I'll talk about what's off the needles. I'll talk about spinning. Going through the rest of my notes, let's see. I'll go through a little bit of stash enhancement, and then I'll talk about some contests. So, let's get started. So, a bit of thanks. First off, I want to catch up. I forgot to put this in the last episode, the vidcast of the last episode. I wanted to thank everybody who posted on the thank you thread. Apparently there was a podcaster love day that was started on Plurk, and a lot of the podcasts on Ravelry that I'm a part of had threads opened by viewers and listeners, just thanking the podcasters for doing what they do. And I ended up getting a thread like that's opened in my group, and so I wanted to thank everybody who posted in that thread. It really meant a lot to me, so thank you. And then I just wanted to thank everybody who has posted in all of the episode threads as well. We seem to be getting a bit more talkative as I'm posting more podcasts, which is really awesome. That's really excellent. I have a little cat who just is jumping, and he's kind of a big cat, so if you hear a little noise, that's him jumping. Let's see. Yeah, I think those were the things that I wanted to thank everybody for. And so we'll move on to what's on the needles. So what's on the needles? I have two things this week that are really on the needles. The first one is the Washington Square vest that I'm working for my mom. Take it out of the Camp Kip bag. I know that just finished up in St. Louis, and I hope everybody had a good time. I'm sorry I couldn't go. I've had some expenses, and we have renovations going on, so that's what kept me from going this year. But I was with everybody in spirit, and I'll tell you why. Yesterday, every Sunday we meet with a couple of people to watch Game of Thrones and Mad Men. And yesterday, I guess technically I made it on Saturday, but we ate it yesterday. I made some gooey butter cake, which is a St. Louis type of delicacy. It's just what it sounds like. There's two layers to it. The first bottom layer is it's a dough that's risen by yeast. It's not really bread, but it's sort of a bread texture. And so you have that on the bottom, and then on the top you have the goo part. And I used a recipe that I found on the Smitten Kitchen website, which I'll link to down at the bottom. The previous time that I made this was for my husband's birthday last August. I made it as written that time, and we determined that there just wasn't enough goo. So I made it double the goo yesterday, and it was delicious. Actually, I think I'll throw in a shot of the gooey butter cake, or what's left of it. We ate some during Game of Thrones yesterday, and then I went and shared some with a friend of mine who just got a fellowship. She's a doctor. And we went to Skillet Diner yesterday, and I was telling her about it, and so I gave her some. So, let's see, I think that's about it, all about the gooey butter cake. So I was with everybody in spirit with the gooey butter cake. It's really good. If you ever have a chance to try some, definitely try some. It's really good. I still have this cat here that's trying to get my attention. So the first thing is the Washington Square vest. I've not done a whole lot. You may not see much progress when I show it up, but I have done probably about an inch. I've done 2 more repeats of this cable band, and I need to go 9 inches. So I'm not there yet. Let me see if I have a tape measure here in my, pretty sure I saw one in here yesterday. Here we go. My trusty Knitmore Girls podcast tape measure in here. It's kind of loud, sorry. So I have, let's see, 7 inches. 7 inches! And each cable pattern appears to be about 3/4 inches long. So I have maybe about 3 more pattern repeats to go. What I've ended up doing is I'll do an entire repeat when I'm sitting at home hanging out with my husband and we're watching TV, and then to reward myself, I'll do some spinning on the electric spinner. The only hiccups that I've encountered is that on the occasional cable, there's 2 different cable bands of the pattern repeat. I always tend to miscross the second cable band, so I've had to kind of rip back and go back because I want to give my mom a perfect project. Although, if you see anything, don't tell me, because I don't want to know. So I've had to tink back a few times to fix those cable rows, but other than that, it's been smooth, slow sailing. And I'd like to get this done in time for Mother's Day, but I really doubt that that's going to happen because we're just into May, and that would give me like 2 weeks, I think, to knit this, so I don't think that's going to happen, unfortunately. So I'm going to put this back into its bag. So there's that. And then the second thing that I have on the needles, I swear, every time I podcast, and I kid you not, I was eating a little bit of lunch before I podcasted because I didn't want to have a rumbly belly when I was podcasting. It was raining and gross, and you guys are my good luck, apparently, because every time I start recording, it's sunny and beautiful. So, what are you going to do? So the second thing that I'm working on is a new pair of stockinette stitch socks. And these are them. You see, I kind of went way different from my previous stockinette stitch socks with the color. This is Indigo Dragonfly Merino sock, and it's in the I've Been Slimed colorway. And if you're familiar with Indigo Dragonfly, they have unique and interesting names for all of their socks. Let me see if I can find. Hold on just one moment. So, this is my bag of Indigo Dragonfly. A few skeins that I've gotten. So this is their shiny base here. It's got sparkles in it. And this colorway name is called Blue Sun Corporation. And then I have some more towards the bottom. This is the merino sock, and it's the Lord Now, which is from Evil Willow of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which is just a gorgeous red. I can't wait to knit with that. And then I thought I had one more skein. Apparently not. I purchased these skeins at Sock Summit this past year in 2011, so really funny, awesome names that they have to their colorways. And the merino sock is like, it's a 2-ply tight twist. It's one of those gorgeous, sock yarns that you would just really love to work with. So I'll put that bag back. Again, it's the usual 1 inch of 1x1 ribbing, stockinette stitch, slip stitch, gusset, turn heel, stockinette stitch. And I'm just about done with the sock. And I think I cast on this maybe a week ago because I finished the other stockinette stitch socks. I believe just right after I podcasted on Monday. So these are about a week old. So, like those. And I've used a fair amount of yarn, and I'm a little concerned that I'm not going to have enough for the second one. But what I do is I have a food scale that I just use for my fiber arts. I think I bought it at like Bed Bath & Beyond or something. So what I do is once I bind off this sock, I will weigh the sock, and then I will weigh the ball of yarn, and I like to do it in grams just to give myself a little more accurate measurement. And if the weight of this is larger than the weight of this, I'll know that I have enough yarn to make another sock. So I will do that as soon as I knit the toe. So that's that, and that's in my super awesome vegan craft-tastic bag. And those are the things that are on my needles. I have some plans for a few other things that are percolating. Unfortunately, I have, the things that are on the needles now that, the one that's a bit of a slog, and, yeah, I can't wait to finish. Ooh, goodness, honey. I can't wait to finish those, and, I think she just hit some bobbins. And then get those fun things that I'm looking forward to on the needles. So that's everything that I'm currently working on, and now we'll move on to finished objects. So what's off the needles are the stockinette stitch socks, the other ones, woohoo! I have to admit, I have a very sad thing to admit. If you notice in the background that things are a little different, I am going through a bit of a purge of my craft room. And in some point yesterday, I have misplaced the other sock. So you only have one sock to look at, but I swear there's two. I wouldn't lie about this, because I hated this yarn. So I honestly don't know if this is the first sock or the second sock. Somewhere I looked for it, but it's a bit of a disaster on this side of the room, but I kind of moved everything so you'd still see just the nice background. So there are two socks. They're all done. Hooray, I don't look cyanotic anymore when I'm knitting a sock because the dye is transferring off. I usually keep them kind of folded up together, but I don't know what happened to the other one. My guess is I maybe stuffed it in something, or I'm kind of going through all of my bags of yarn and coming up with stuff I want to donate or possibly give away, and I'll just show you one of the bags. So this has a lot of yarns that I've knit sweaters out of, like this red here was the Acer cardigan. And this blue here, that's Peace Fleece, that's from my Central Park hoodie. I have a sky tweed skein here, and that was for it was a jacket of some sort. And then I have balls that are left over from my Plum Frost cardigan. And so I just have all these kind of single balls, or maybe a couple of balls or skeins of yarn that I'm not going to use because I'm done with the project. So what I'm thinking of doing is donating to like the local Salvation Army or something, kind of the half-used skeins, and then maybe doing giveaways, because I think there's like 3 or 4 skeins of this, what is this? Let me dig through it. Barocco Pure Alpaca, and so I was thinking of like, doing giveaways on the podcast that if you wanted, you could enter. So that's just one of the bags that I've got of stuff to donate. So my purging of the stash room is your gain, and the local donation center's gain. So yeah, I think it's probably somewhere, like right in front of me. I just haven't been able to find it because it's a bit chaotic in here. Things should be better next week, and hopefully I'll have found both of them and am enjoying them with my probably blue feet underneath them. I am planning on washing these before I wear them and adding the little bit of vinegar to the wash bath just to make sure, and heating it a little bit so that dye hopefully sets, so we'll see. So, finished pair of socks. Yay! And then I think this brings me up to, I have to look at my my notebook on Ravelry. This brings me up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think 6 socks? Really? Yeah, 6 socks this year that I've knit. And we're only into the 4th month, so I'm doing awesome job. And soon I'll have to start knitting for my husband again because he was watching me knit the I've Been Slimed ones last night during Game of Thrones, and he's like, so, when are you gonna start knitting me a pair? So, I'll have to start knitting for him soon. Sad face, because I like knitting for me. So that's what's off the needles. And now we'll move on to spinning. So for spinning, I have finished 3 more skeins of the Border Leicester Cross yarn that I have. I have 1 full bobbin of singles, and then I have another bobbin that just got started. And then there's one of those big coils, beehive coils, of the fleece left, and then I'm completely done with that fleece, which is super awesome. And then one of the viewers, Knit Engineer, had some questions about the yarn. I should grab the yarn. Where did I put it? That too is sort of in the big black hole. Oh, I found it! So this is one of the finished and washed skeins that you saw last week. So she had some questions. Let me just pull up her post while I am talking to you all. And it's in the episode 37 post. She just wanted a little more information about the yarn that I'm spinning. And she wanted to know, when I say that it's a Border Leicester Cross fleece, what does the cross stand for? And unfortunately, I just don't know. I purchased this fleece from, I believe it was from Black Sheep Gathering. Let me see. I have the information for the fleece downstairs. Actually, it was from the Oregon Flock and Fiber Festival. I have information for this fleece downstairs, and I forgot to bring it up here. But I do have information for other fleeces that I can kind of show you or go through and talk about. Actually, never mind. I'm going to go get the card from downstairs because I don't want to be lazy. Okay, so I have the information here. And when I purchased the fleece, there was a little bit more on this tag. But the part that's cut off is the place where I can put my information, so the grower knows who purchased their fleece. I just ran up the stairs. So the person who grew this fleece is Elizabeth Hubbard. She's from Hub Corriedales. I believe she's in Oregon. She's located in Oregon, and she's one of my favorite local fleece growers. The other information that's on here is the price of the fleece, the animal ID, what type of fiber it was, and just says sheep. And then the fiber type is a Border Leicester Cross, and then I know that it was a female. The fleece weight was 7.5 pounds, and the sheep was 5 years old when it was cut. And that's all that I know about the fleece. So I don't know what it was crossed with, but I believe when they say that it's a Border Leicester Cross, it means one of the parents was something else. So, I don't know. It's not super soft. I'm not really planning on having it be next to the skin garments. I was thinking like a blanket or like a outerwear type of jacket. I'm just kind of picking off all my hairs because I tend to shed a lot. Let's see, the other type of information that Knit Engineer wanted. This is a 2-ply yarn. I spun it in a more worsted style, and I just kind of do a short forward draw with this, except because it's a border Leicester, my short forward is more like this, because I have to kind of go past the staple length between my hands, so it drafts a little bit easier. And let's see, oh, the wraps per inch. I'm going to do that on my phone, because I didn't, it kind of varies because my consistency is not super great with this. I kind of just, I haven't had a real goal for the border Leicester to, you know, spin to a certain weight, like I will with the variegated merino. So I just kind of let it do what it wants to do organically. And then I knew that I kind of just wanted to do a 2-ply, so that's what I did. So the wraps per inch is turning out to be, let's see, the 8 is too big. Maybe about 10 wraps per inch. I like to use the one on my phone because I think the one where you wrap around something is, I know I would be kind of tight. So it turns out to be 10 wraps per inch, and then according to the gauge of that, it would be an Aran. So it probably goes from a worsted to an Aran weight on this. And the wraps per inch thing is this thing with the white lines, and I just kind of held it up against that. And then there's a chart when you keep scrolling that just shows you all the information. So that's that information. So hopefully if you have any other questions about the yarn, you'll let me know. I'm more than happy to answer questions. I want to make sure that everybody kind of gets a bit of an education with this, because I think that's one of the more fun things about having a podcast, is that you can help everybody else kind of learn something. So that's it for this spinning. I'm going to finish out the podcast and then record something else that I'm going to plug in right after this. And I figured, because I've been talking about my electric spinner a whole lot, but I haven't shown it, that I would show it. So I'm going to plug that in after this, so enjoy seeing how the electric spinner works. So this is my Hanson Crafts miniSpinner. It is my electric spinning wheel. The parts to it are, it's got a woolly winder here, and so you see you'll see when I am actually spinning on it, which I brought some fiber up here, it automatically winds onto the bobbin. Other parts of it are the orifice that you see there. You see the controls down here. There's a plug here for the foot pedal. There's this toggle switch. Ooh, you see I had it on. Here we go. A toggle switch to control which way the wheel will go. So you go either right or left. There's a speed dial here, which you can control how fast it goes. It's got the release for the back of the wheel, so you can change out the bobbin. You do that by just pushing that down and then pulling that. And then the other part of it is the Scotch tension, which you can see right here, or hopefully you can see right here. And then you just kind of line up the back and then snap it all together. There we go. And then you control the Scotch tension with this knob here. So to go away from you make it tighter, and then to make it looser, you go towards you. So again, it's about where it was. Here's the plug for the mini spinner, and then it goes, turn it back around here, it goes in this little plug here. So I shall plug it in. So if I plug it in, I can turn on the spinner now, and it will start going. And it starts out kind of slow, and then it gets to the max speed that it's at. I'll show you how slow I can make it go. Pretty darn slow if you ask me. It's almost of a stop. Make it go a little faster here. Like that. And then you can make it, I'm going to show you how the max speed looks, which is a little scary. So we turn that back down. And that noise is the woolly winder that you're hearing. It's pretty silent. This is the foot pedal. You click it like that. It controls the turning the wheel on and off. So I plug it into the front here. There's a few ways that this gets set up. It depends on what you plug in first. If you plug in the power first and then the foot pedal, when you click the, let me get the toggle switch on. When you click on the foot pedal, it will only go when your foot is depressed on the foot pedal. When you plug in the power second, so I've just unplugged the power and I'll plug it back in, it will turn on the wheel and then you can let go. And it'll turn on. And then I push it again to turn it off. And then the way that it works, I grab my fiber here. Let me grab my end. So I like to kind of pull out a lot of end. You thread it through that ring and then that ring. And then to make it easier to pull through the orifice, I kind of let it double back on itself like so. And then that way it's a little easier to go through the orifice. And there's a hook, but I didn't bring the hook up from downstairs. Because that would require a lot of pre-planning. So hopefully you can see, I'm just going to scoot that back just a hair more. You can see, I'm going to put the foot pedal down on the ground, and then I'm going to plug this back in so it'll go only when I have my foot on it. And then I'm just going to try to check and see what you can see and what you can't. Let's see, I'll move the wheel forward a little. Yes, that will work. Scout wants to help demonstrate too? Yeah? So, because I don't want a whole lot of twist in here, I'm kind of untwisting what I've had twisted. So here's my end. And then I'm going to have it go a little faster there, kind of join in my end. And then because I messed with the tension, it's not where it was when I started. So that's how I go. And you see I have to keep my hands kind of far apart. Speed that up a bit. So this is how I've been spinning this fleece. Let's see if I can, I draw with my right hand, which I know kind of is probably in your way a little bit, so let me see if I can just make it look a little better for you. And the thing that I like about the electric spinner is that you don't really have to worry about treadling. You can just set a speed and be consistent, which is really helpful. because when you're not trying to show people what you're doing on your podcast, it can be, you can be really consistent. And the fact that everything winds on automatically, I love that. All of my wheels have woolly winders because I don't like changing hooks. So then I just keep going like this until I'm done with the fleece. And it's great for when you're watching TV, because when you're in the groove, you don't even really have to look at your work, because I can do a lot of this by feel. And that's that. That's my electric spinner. Like I said before, this is by Hanson Crafts. They are local to, well, local-ish to me. They're on the peninsula of Washington State. And I actually got lucky enough to be drawn into their lucky 15 people class that is going on with Judith McKenzie. This is my first class with Judith, so I'm really excited about that. That's going to be in July, and so I'm trying to get everything off of my miniSpinner, so all my bobbins will be empty. So this is the miniSpinner. It's a great purchase. The price for this varies depending on the wood. I got a cherry one, so it's, I believe, the second lowest expensive one. The first one is a maple, that's the least expensive. And then as you go to more exotic woods, those get much more expensive. And I think the most expensive one that they have is about $1,200. The bobbins are fairly expensive as well. I want to say they're about $50 or so. I'm going to put the information at the bottom of the on the subtitle. So you can go check out prices and everything. But it's one of my best fiber tools. I really enjoy using this. So and I feel like Vanna, this is my miniSpinner. So that's that. There's a few things that I forgot to tell you about the miniSpinner. One is that you can buy portable batteries for it, so you don't need a plug in the wall. Two, they also include a cigarette lighter attachment to it, so you can spin in the car, and I believe that's it. But it's very portable, and I love it. So that was the electric spinner. Isn't it cool? It's really helpful to spin things. It's helped with my consistency, because it takes the whole treadling aspect out of it. So yeah, that was that. So I'm going to move on to the contests now. So now on to contests. I have found a few things in my stash room that I want to give to a listener. So I'm going to just kind of reach over here and grab them. The first thing that I'm going to give away is this keychain sock blocker. So that, and then I'm going to throw in a skein of sock yarn to go with it. And this is Sunshine Yarns Superwash Merino Wool. It's approximately 450 yards, and it's in the Maki colorway, so it's like sushi. Isn't that cool? So these are going to be, this is going to be one prize. So, and then the second thing that I'm going to give away is a pattern for a knitted triangular lace shawl with undulating edgings. So that's what that looks like. Hopefully that's a little bit in focus. I know the picture's kind of small. And then what I'm going to give away to go with that is some Munich Yarns Celeste, which is 70% kid mohair and 30% nylon. There are 3 skeins of this, which should be enough to make the shawl. So the shawl pattern and the 3 skeins of yarn. So those are the 2 items that I'm going to put up for a contest. I am going to have it be in this episode's thread, so I'm going to put, like episode 38, the title of it, and then contest entry thread. I'm going to have a few rules, just put in a comment, whatever, even if it's just like, enter me. And then you have to be a member of the group to win. So those are the two rules. Comment on this episode's thread on Ravelry and be a member of the group. So good luck to those of you who enter. I'm going to keep this open, I think, until next week. And next week will be, let me just find out when I will record. I have to look at my work schedule. So it will be, again, on I'll be recording on Monday the 7th. So you have until Sunday the 6th, I'll say at midnight, where I'll lock the thread on Monday the 7th at 12:01 a.m. So you have until then to enter, so good luck everyone. And now for a little stash enhancement. So this week's stash enhancement is the thing that was bumped from last week when my husband brought me that yarn from Stash, or String, not Stash. And it's this book. It is The Principles of Knitting, Methods and Techniques of Hand Knitting by June Hemmons Hyatt. This is literally a textbook on knitting. Look how big that is. It's 650 pages of content. It goes from, I'm going to open it up to the table of contents. So part 1 includes learning and methods, which is knitting methods and circular and flat knitting. Part 2 is constructing a fabric, which includes casting on, selvages and steeks, casting off, shaping a fabric, picking up stitches, openings, and hems, facing, pleats, and tucks. Part 3 is decorative techniques, which includes the stitches, increase and decrease techniques, increase and decrease stitch patterns, color techniques, and surface decoration. Part 4 includes special fabrics, which is double fabrics, inlay, twined knit, felting and fulling, uncommon shapes. Then part 5 is stitch and color patterns, which include written stitch patterns, charted stitch patterns, charted color patterns. Part 6 is pattern design, which includes stitch gauge, measurements and schematics, calculations for pattern design, charted garment patterns. Part 7 is materials, which are fibers, yarns, and tools. And part 8 is working a project, which includes working a project, written garment patterns, cleaning and dressing a knit, and finishing techniques. And I haven't had a whole lot of time to read this because it's 650 pages long. But it's got pictures, it's got drawn illustrations, it's got a lot of text, and basically it just covers everything and anything you'd want to know about knitting. I saw Amy from the Outlier podcast had purchased this at Madrona, and by the time that I wanted to find it, they were all sold out. So I ended up ordering this off of Amazon. So no full review yet of the book, but this is this week's stash enhancement. A knitting textbook, if you've ever seen one. I figured this would be a really good resource for this podcast because I like to cover aspects of this fiber art, and so I figured this would come in really handy for future segments. So that's it for the stash enhancement. So that's it. So that's it for this week's show. I've got a little bit of a frog in my throat apparently. I hope you all enjoyed it. The next episode that I will be recording is going to be next Monday, the 7th of May, which I believe I told you earlier. Don't forget about entering the contest. I'd love to send those goodies out to you guys. And I hope you have a good week of knitting, and I will see you next week. Bye!